Yo, what's up guys? Before we get into the video, $25 is going to be the new price of my coaching from $15. Link in the description for details on the coaching. But now getting into the video. So we got Grandmaster, solo queue only, 183 games, 59% win rate. We did actually get Grandmaster about 5 or 6 days ago, but I kind of forgot to make a video on it. And we just got back to Grandmaster because I was tilting a bit, losing a decent amount the last couple days. And so now that we got back up, I'm going to show you guys the game that got me Grandmaster and kind of talk through that overall. So let's get right into that. Okay guys, so going into draft, you see that we draft Corki blind pick here. Main reason I draft Corki is 1, he's not bad with Seraphine. 2, he's a really good blind pick and pretty safe into most champs where I don't see, the enemy ADC yet. And then also, just generally a really solid champ that you can kind of pick in most scenarios. This is actually my first ADC game of the entire season. You see here I asked my support to take Ignite. I take Barrier because they don't have that much CC here. You can't really cleanse Mbessa ultimate unless you react within 0.25 seconds, because once you're ulted, you're suppressed and you can't click cleanse. And then their only other CC, I mean, they have Jhin, who has a root. Obviously, they have Karma root, and then they have Volibear stun. So they just don't have a lot of things that are that worrying, and I'm kind of okay with like dodging them, whatever. So I rather go for the barrier so that I can, just survive better, have that better survivability in lane. Make sure that if someone tries to burst me down, I have that to avoid their poke or their burst, that type of thing. So approaching the lane, and again, this is the first ADC game of the season, but approaching the lane, there's a couple main things you want to keep track of in lane. First thing is definitely going to be staying, trying to stay on a parallel line with your support. So when you see your support going forward, you walk up, you go forward with them. When you see them backing up, you back up as well. So you can see how me and my support are actually focusing the wave at the exact same time, making sure that we get the lane priority. Because if we have the lane pushed, then we can go more aggro, make more plays. We can rotate, help with the objective, help with scuttle, help our team if they're fighting. We can ward the jungle camps. We just have a lot more that we can do. So basically, we just generally want to try to stay pushed up in the lane when we can and just have that additional pressure, because it also makes it harder for the enemy to poke. And so here we don't really try to engage much with the enemy because they have better poke level 1, but we have much stronger all in. And so we see our Thresh going forward here and we make sure we follow up on him because we hit that level 2. So you see Thresh does an amazing job of playing around level 2, where the first minion of the second minion wave will give us level 2. The enemy, we're not yet level 2, so he gets a big engage for us. And since we have the stronger all in but the weaker poke, we go for those really heavy trades as you saw there. We're not trying to just poke them out. We're trying to really hard engage on them. So anytime that I see the enemy going forward, I'm going to be looking to engage if my Thresh goes in. And again, looking for those like longer term trades, because Karma obviously is going to outpoke. And so here, Thresh gets a really great engage again. We end up getting a lot of poke onto the Jhin, getting him low enough to the point that now if he lands the hook, as you see here, he's low enough that we can go in, we can dodge him, we have the lantern to get out. I should have grabbed the lantern, but instead I go this way. Still works out perfectly fine, but we get the dive, we get the early kill. And again, a lot of the reasons that we got that kill was because we had the lane pushing first with our Thresh, and again, Thresh played really good this game. We had the lane pushing with our Thresh so that we would get the level up first. Because we get the level up first, we can engage really hard once they level up, as you saw Thresh do there. And then we're just able to obviously just pretty straightforwardly use our abilities, use our auto attacks on them, and poke them down, play around the fact that we're stronger in the all-ins, and get that early lead. And so then we recall. You got to also make sure when you do get those kills in lane, you're not overstaying. Make sure to recall, as you saw me do there. Spend your gold so you can come back to lane and once again be a lot stronger. Here we see Karma already rotating. And so I know at this point that I have a really good opportunity to freeze the lane. So the main reason I can freeze here, Karma's not here. Jhin has no flash. And obviously 2 of their minions were stuck in front of my tower, which meant that we would have more minions, so we can freeze for free. And so you can see Jhin is stuck there. My Thresh is even messing with him, as you can see on the map. And I'm basically just here, completely screwing over Jhin. He has nothing he can do. He can't walk up, because if he walks up, I'll second ability onto him. Third ability, auto attack. First ability, auto attack, and I'll just, trade really heavily on him. Here, I try to see if I can go because the lantern, but the lantern not quite in my range to grab. But either way, I'm just, again, chilling here. Literally nothing that the Jhin can do. He's just completely stuck here. And then slowly we'll build up a really big wave. You can see we're starting to build up a big wave, which means that eventually we'll have a wave big enough where we'll probably be up a level on the enemy. And then we can really hard engage on them when we have this giant wave, because if they trade in the wave, they take a lot of damage. And again, we'll be higher level, so we'll have better stats, that type of thing, which makes it really easy to trade. You can see Thresh just kind of messing with them. as we build up this giant wave. You've seen me do this in top lane a lot if you guys watch a lot of my videos, where we build up a really big wave, and you can do this in support or in dual lane as well. And then because of that, we're able to, you're going to see not die here. I nearly killed Karma. She has the heal. But even though we get ganked by the enemy jungle, you see we win this trade. We get their support 1 HP, and Bessa's half HP, and we're still both over half HP with our flash because of that giant wave. So you can see how a wave can act as like protection, so that we're not even really worried about, again, a gank or anything like that. As long as we're positioning properly, we're not randomly overextending or wasting all of our mobility. Because if I'd wasted all my mobility or flashed on the enemy there, obviously then I'm going to get caught out by the jungle. But if you're smart with your mobility, you can have those waves as protection, and then if the enemy try to trade with you in them, you're fine, because you have that as protection. You have your second ability, you have your flash, all that type of thing. So then when it comes to this part of the game now, we're about 30 seconds away from the first objective. We want to try to get the lane pushed if we can. Once we have the lane pushed, we then just rotate towards the objective with our team. Or we, if we don't think that the fight is really worth it, then we'll just stay on the turret or stay on, the wave. So in this case, for example, I believe what's going to happen, my team is going to kind of be posturing around the dragon. They're sort of not going to be doing much for a little bit, and so I'm going to take a quick plate because I have the wave pushing, and I'm going to deny the enemy gold. So notice I ward the objective, so I know if the enemy are taking it, I'm going to see them. I make sure to get lane priority on the wave immediately, and then I see that the enemy aren't immediately focusing the wave, and so I go for a plate. This way I'm able to get an additional 150 gold. I denied them all of that gold under the turret, and I'm still here for the fight. It's not like the enemy are going to instantly one-shot an objective. I'm still in a position to fight. I can still rotate. And now at this point in the fight, we're just waiting for our team to make some type of engage, just following up very nicely. Really good engage by my team. We get Ambessa ulted, but it's perfectly fine. We have our second ability. We still have our barrier as well. And so again, just this patience in the fight. Now that Ambessa ults out, it's very straightforward to play this fight. I can just, again, auto attack. There's not really anything that's that scary for me. So you saw how the reason I was playing kind of passive in the early parts of that fight was mostly because, again, Ambessa had her ultimate, and that was really what was super scary to me, more than any other spell. And so once that ultimate came out, I can then go a lot more aggressive. Now, in this case, obviously, my team made the early engage, so I had to follow up, even though Ambessa hadn't yet ulted. But then as soon as that ult was out, you just saw I can pretty much run at them for free, get a bunch of auto attacks off, and it's going to be really, really easy. Now, in this case, once I'm recalling, you're going to see I'm going to go back to bottom lane. The reason I'm going bottom lane is because the rest of my team is rotating Herald. So there's going to be two things that could happen. Either all 5 of the enemy go Herald, in which case I get a free, like a bunch of plates in bot lane, and I get super far ahead. Or the enemy ADC, or even support our bot lane, in which case I'm going to survive perfectly fine, and then my team might even get the Herald. And so in this case, you see Jhin goes forward, even though he doesn't have flash, and he's a lot weaker than me, and I punish him for free. And now I'm just able to continue pressuring the turret as my team can go on Herald. And so you're going to see I'm just going to auto attack the turret. You guys don't need to watch me auto attack the turret. I know it's fun to watch me auto attack the turret, but I'm not going to show you guys because that's, that's a personal thing. That's private. I want to keep that private. But we get the first turret in bottom lane. Corki absolutely melts through turrets. And now I also want to talk about what I do out of base here. So because we see the bottom lane wave pushing and the turret's dead, there's no reason for me to go bot. And so I go towards mid instead, where there's a low HP, or there's a low health turret. There's a Jhin who, again, we know probably doesn't still have flash. I don't know 100%. And my Orianna is a little low, so it also might be helpful for me to be there. And so I do that. I guess I skipped a little too far forward here. But I do that, and then I go, pretty aggro on the Ziggs here, because again, Ziggs is a champion that doesn't do very well when you get on top of him, and you can see that burst damage. I mean, look at that. Like, that's insane. I'm just going and I'm nearly one-shotting him. Jhin tries to go on me, but he doesn't get me, and the Orianna grabs the ultimate. So we get the easy kill on him. Top lane turret has now died as well because of all the pressure we have. And then because I'm just a genius, I don't click barrier, and I die to a Ziggs ultimate because I'm just a goat. I just forgot to click my barrier, So you guys can report me, you can ban me, you can never watch my stream again or my YouTube videos because clearly I suck at the game. Yeah, I was pretty sad about that, so that's unfortunate. But we're still very strong. I mean, at this point, the enemy did get the Herald, but you see they got it so late that they're only going to get a turret. They're not going to get plates out of it. We've already gotten the bottom lane turret. We already got top. Mid lane turret's really low. So we get way more value out of that entire scenario, even though the enemy got the Herald. And here I was kind of debating where to go, but at the end of the day, I decided I want to protect that bottom lane turret because there is, a pretty big wave going bot lane, and so I end up going straight towards bot. I can easily get the wave, and then I can possibly trade on Jhin again. because I know I'll be up a level at this point, and I'm just way stronger than the Jhin, so I just second ability forward onto him. And I don't remember if we end up killing him or not. I think we do. Yeah, we do, and we barrier to make sure we don't die. Don't think I would have died anyway, but yeah. So again, you can just see like my champion really is really good. Just anytime you're pretty strong, you can just second ability forward onto a squishy champ if you know there's not other people around. You get an easy kill like that. Just generally really good in 1v1s. Really good burst damage. Melts through tanks really well. I mean, Corki is just pretty OP right now. Can't really believe that this champ is this strong. I feel like they'll definitely nerf it soon, but I don't know. We'll see, I guess. But now at this point in the fights, you know, I'm really strong, and what you got to make sure you're doing when you're really strong as an ADC is not over-aggressing, because again, the way that we can lose this game, now that we're ahead, is Volibear runs on me and jumps on me, and, you know, first ability, whatever, stuns me, or Ambessa lands an ultimate. And so I need to make sure those spells are either gone or I'm not in danger of getting hit by them before I go for the fight. And so even here, you see I'm prioritizing bottom lane wave, even though my team is stupidly fighting topside before an objective. I'm not going to follow up on that. I'm going to get the bottom lane wave, then I'm going to get the mid wave. I'm going to make sure I'm getting my gold up. I'm playing consistently. I'm doing what I know I need to do. And if my team ends up making 1 or 2 dumb deaths there, we're going to be fine because I'm in a position where I have control over the mid wave. I have control over the bottom lane wave. And so the enemy were low health there. It's really hard for them to walk forward. And you can see I can, for example, find that Ziggs, who we nearly one-shot. He's at 31 HP. Because he had to walk in to cover that wave because we'd pushed it forward. And so even though the enemy did get kills, we get complete control over the objective to such an extent that even though my teammates inted and died, they're nearly respawned at this point before the objective, and we still have control. The enemy cannot walk in. They're completely, you know, clueless. They just can't really do anything. And so again, you see I'm auto-attacking Volley, but I'm very scared of his ultimate. I'm very scared of Ambessa potentially ulting me. And so I'm hovering in this kind of area where I can easily second ability if I need to. I'm just trying to poke the enemy out. I saw Ambessa use her ultimate, so now Volibear is the only real threat. I make sure to second ability out of the Ziggs ultimate, and now I'm just in the pit, just dealing a bunch of damage, and nobody can really deal with me, and I can flash over the wall at any time, which is why I'm positioning in the way that I am. And at this point here, you're going to see, you know, again, we're just barrier, make sure that we can kill the Volibear. Riven gets the kill on the side, and again, because we got control setting up that objective, through pushing out the bottom lane and the mid lane wave, meanwhile everyone else was stupidly fighting on top side, we have control over that objective. We're able to easily win that fight because we position properly. We make sure to put ourselves in a position where we can flash over the wall if we need, and we can also get as much damage out as possible. Again, waiting out those key spells, waiting for Ambessa to ult before really going super aggressive, making sure I'm ready to flash Volibear if he ults onto me. And now we make sure to grab as much as we can out of that one fight as well. Because the enemy were dead for about 15 seconds, I made sure to push the bottom lane wave and get that tier 2 turret instead of immediately recalling. A lot of people there would just recall, spend their gold, and kind of call it a day. But again, because we knew that we had a bit of extra time, I can take that additional turret. That lets me get stasis, because otherwise I wouldn't have had enough gold to get stasis, which then makes it a lot harder to throw. So now if I do make a dumb mistake, I have stasis to kind of save my ass in that case. So that's another important thing, squeezing as much gold as you can out of your you know, your leads after winning a fight and whatnot, but making sure also that you don't overextend, right? You know, it's kind of that balance of not overextending, but also getting as much as you can out of your one fights. At this point, Volibear is pretty overextended, so we're kind of just looking, you know, to engage on him. Pretty straightforward. Team gets a good engage. We end up grabbing the kill on him, and so now we can kind of try to force Baron. I'm a little worried to force Baron because of the fact that, you know, their jungler's still alive, but if we zone properly, it definitely would be doable. So we just kind of follow up if our team does as well. Because, I mean, as an ADC, generally, you're just following whatever your team does for the most part. You don't really get to make a lot of your own decisions. More about, you know, spell tracking, farming properly, getting strong, playing mechanically well, and then, you know, just like a couple other things like that. So even there, I want to kind of pay attention or talk about this as well. Like, as soon as Ambessa shows up on my screen, I know she's thinking about ulting me. And so I'm immediately going to use my mobility to run away. Like, notice how I see Ambessa on my screen. I immediately second ability away rather than trying to bait it. If I didn't do that, you know, it's going to land on me. Obviously, she still could have hit me. It was possible she could have hit me and predicted or whatever, but I had stasis even if I did get ulted. It wasn't the end of the world, really. So, you know, it wouldn't really have mattered anyways, but just something to keep in mind. Like, when I see those champs on my screen, I'm immediately thinking of what spells they have, and so now I'm more aggressive on the Ambessa because I know she doesn't have ultimate, and so you can see I'm able to get poke onto her because I'm not scared, again, because she doesn't have ult. So even understanding those types of things is really important for winning fights. Just keeping track of those certain cooldowns, definitely an extremely important skill on ADC. We've talked about it a lot this season through these videos. But at this point, we're ahead 600 gold or 6,000 gold, so we're just kind of controlling mid lane. Now that Baron's up, we want to make sure we're on the side of the Baron when we can be. And we don't really need to do anything. It's just like if the enemy overextend into us or give us an easy angle to fight them, like this, I'm going to get a bunch of poke onto them. But if they don't, I'll just wait for an objective to spawn, like the dragon. Then we'll fight over the dragon. And, you know, we're going to be able to draw the enemy in. And so again, here I see the entire enemy team. If Volibear ever ults me, I can immediately second ability away. Not really scared of that. Kind of waiting out the enemy skills again. Notice how I'm using Jax as a body shield even for Mbessa ult. And then at this point, now that my team engages pretty nicely, I know I can actually go in. We flash, we get the Mbessa. And at this point, the fight is pretty easy to play. Because we can just go for Baron now after this. Now that their jungler is dead, Volibear dies as well. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. You know, you can see at this point, I'm kind of trying to zone the enemy because I am a little worried about them trying to steal Baron or anything. So like that was kind of my goal there, was like to zone them. But at this point, honestly, I could have just gone for Baron right away. But zoning, you know, to make sure Ziggs doesn't get a steal is kind of my idea here. It's kind of what I'm looking for. So I'm trying to even get vision here, just make sure they can't really do anything since my team is able to get the Baron anyway. You can see that poke there as well. A lot of poke overall. I don't remember if we ended up killing him. I don't think we do. Yeah. But at this point now, we're still able to get the Baron, even though I'm kind of being a little bit of a silly goose here. Just trying to make sure that there's no chance of Ziggs steals. I've had enough Ziggs steal my objectives to, you know, not want to worry about that or anything like that. But now at this point, pretty straightforward. We just need to pretty much go mid lane, control over mid, push mid, and then go for dragon. That's going to be soul, and then we would end the game through that. However, I believe the enemy FF soon, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's one more fight before the FF. But here you see we're kind of controlling mid lane, as we kind of said, making sure we can zone so we can get the Elder or the soul for free. Pushing out bottom lane wave now that mid's pushed. Use the fact that our Baron, you know, is still up also means that we can pretty easily push whatever lane we want. And then we're just waiting for our team to make any type of engage, and that's pretty much all we have to do in order to win this game. It's a pretty straightforward game at this point. As you can tell, I mean, I'm nearly on 4 items as well already, and the only 3rd dragon. So if you're ever that strong as an ADC, you're usually going to be pretty happy. So we're pretty much just waiting for the enemy to go forward. They don't even go forward. And then I just use the stasis to bait the engage here. Nice lantern from the Thresh as well. And at this point now, they're just pretty screwed. They can't really do much. And this is when they surrender. So little premature on when they surrender. But yeah, really straightforward game. This is the game, like I said, that got us Grandmaster. We'll show you the little animation here. Or it got us Grandmaster for the 2nd time anyway. Like I said, I was Grandmaster like 5-6 days ago. But yeah, also, again, as I mentioned, coaching $25 an hour now. Just wanted to mention that. And then also, I will be streaming a lot more frequently now. I'm off of, you know, my spring break, or my summer break rather, is happening now. So I'll be streaming for the next 3 months a lot, except for when I'm working. So the next 2 weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I'm working. I work at like hockey ranks. I run scoreboards. And at those hockey ranks, I'll be there Friday night, all of Saturday, and then Sunday morning. So I'll only be streaming on Friday morning and on Sunday night. But then again, we'll be streaming most mornings and nights for about 4 hours each, whenever I don't have work for the most part. So that's just kind of an update on the stream schedule as well. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you later.